All right, everyone. So it's 7 o'clock. I know we've got a lot more people who are joining us based on the RSVPs, but it is time to go full pirate mode. So ahoy, mateys. I am your captain, moderately unhinged Megan. I wrangle these ambassadors, and I'm very excited to welcome you all to the meeting this evening. I am going to be the host this evening, and I just wanted to welcome you all. This evening is not just about logistics. You all can read an athlete guide. You can read an aid station chart. I hope you've already looked at those items because we are getting close to race weekend. I mean, in an ultra, it does feel like we are getting close to race weekend. So this is about building community. It's about helping you to feel like you have met some people, both your fellow runners and your race staff and your ambassadors, before you show up in the Outer Banks in March. So we want you to feel like this is a little bit more of a community, even though it is online at the moment. So the way that the hour is going to work is our ambassadors are going to introduce themselves. We're going to lead the discussion. We're going to interweave the questions that y'all have pre-submitted into the discussion. Some of them we'll get to at the end if they didn't quite fit into a section. And then we'll do the virtual Q&A at the end of it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the in-call chat, and we will get to them as it kind of makes sense. If we do end up missing something, I promise I will go through at the end, and if I miss something, I'll email you. I can find your contact information. And then let's see, and that's pretty much it. So, a couple of things. First of all, there is no such thing as a bad question. If you're thinking it, someone else is probably thinking it. And then the other thing that I said to the ambassadors earlier today was just that I love this race because it is just such an interesting group of people. If you're choosing to go run 100 miles point to point on the road in the Outer Banks when there can be all sorts of interesting conditions, you are probably a pretty cool person who I would want to get to know. So I love this group of ambassadors because they represent a very diverse group of people. And I hope that you find someone this evening to connect with who you feel their voice resonates with you. So I am going to ask my ambassadors to introduce themselves, and I will kick it off with Carolyn. Go for it.
So I'm Carolyn Adams, Captain Gamey Glowfingers here. This will be my third time crewing the BBR. I live in Duck, so it's very convenient, and just really glad to meet all you guys.
Thanks, Carolyn. Caitlin, you're up.
I'm Caitlin. My pirate name is Kurita Kate. I have done this for 2 years, and I'm going on my third year now, so super excited.
And John, you're up.
Hey everybody, my name's Jonathan. I'm Captain Weirdbeard. This will be my third year participating, my third time doing the 100 mile, and I'm hailing from Borden, Maryland.
Awesome. Stephen Crawford, go.
Hey everybody, I'm Steven, aka Captain America. This is going to be my third attempt at trying to finish this race. I'm going to be rucking it instead of running it because I figure third time's the charm, might as well make it as hard as possible.
Jackie, go.
My name is Jackie. I'm coming from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I am the Salty Ginger, and this is going to be my first time doing BBR and running 100 miles.
Yeah. All right. And Coach Steve, you're up.
How's it going? I'm Steve Epifano. I live out in San Clemente, California. My pirate name is SoCal Scallywag. And this will be my second time doing it. Second time with my mom as well.
And his mom is Anna on the call as well. All right. Hangry Huffman, you're up. Jason.
I'm trying. There we go. I couldn't get unmuted. Couldn't find the button. I'm used to Zoom, so this one's a little different. Anyway, I'm Jason Huffman, Captain Hangry Huffman. I am currently residing in Texas. Right now, I'm at Disney World doing marathon weekend, so I'm a little. We've done one of 4 races, and I'm already exhausted, so it's gonna be a long weekend. But
Woo!
You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Who needs sleep? This will be my third time doing Blackbeard's 100, and it'll be my fourth time there because the first year I was there, I paced a friend of mine for 40 miles of her 100K. So fell in love with the race then.
Love that. Luke, you are up. Lionheart. Luke, you are muted. All right, I'm going to jump to Leanne. I'll come back to Luke. Leanne, you're up.
Here we go. Hey, I'm Leanne. This is my second time doing the Blackbeard's Revenge. My second ultra. I'm gonna try the 100-mile this time, and I'm from Hatteras.
Yeah, she's one of our locals. And let's see. You know what? Let's jump to Molly. Molly, go for it.
All right. Hi, everyone. So my name is Molly. My pirate name is Mad Molly. This is my first time doing the Blackbeard Revenge. I'm going to do the 100K. I'm originally from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I'm a military spouse. So I've been, for the last 10 years, I've been a little bit of everywhere. But right now I'm currently in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And you're originally from Hatteras, right?
Yeah, Frisco, North Carolina. Yeah.
Awesome. And then Luke, are you you got your situation figured out now? I know he's on.
Am I on now?
Now I got you. Go.
One more time. My name is Luke Karinek, aka Lionheart. I'm coming from New York, and this will be my fourth time running the 100-miler. And I can't wait to see everybody. I see some familiar faces. Can't wait to see everybody at the starting line.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. So we're going to move into a little bit talking about training. We're kind of early in the season, so your training is probably very different, especially depending on what your event you're training for. And so I'd like to hear from a couple of my ambassadors. Some of them are going to be veterans who have done this before, and some of them I'm going to pick on my newbies. And I'm going to get I want to get a sense of whether people are feeling like this is very scary or if it's fine, because it helps to feel like you're not the only one feeling these things when you are out there training for these crazy events. So I wanted to start out by asking Coach Steve Epifano, what does your training look right now? You're a veteran, you've done this before. Just give us a quick sense of what you're doing right now.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of starting to ramp up my miles a little bit more. I'm more on the higher side in terms of volume. Cool. But what I'm going to do now, because I'm usually a trail runner and this is mostly road, and road beats me up. So I'm going to put a lot more miles on the road starting out. So, and I also like to get as much elevation as I can. So it's going to be all flat pretty much coming up soon.
Yeah, you do get a lot of elevation. That makes that makes a lot of sense, because and you can jump in because Steve actually is a coach as well. This works different muscles than than running a lot of elevation ups and downs.
Yeah, and then you want to practice a lot on the flats too, because you're using the same muscles over and over. It's just repetitive motion over and over. So your muscles need to get really used to that. So yeah, I like to say embrace the boring and just get used to nice and flat and long time on feet. That's about it.
Yeah, and I'm curious, I'm going to ask Jason Hangry Huffman, what has changed for you? You've done this race 3 times now. What's changed for you in the way that you train for the race now that you know what to expect?
Well, I have a coach, and he pretty much tells me what to do. So not a lot has changed since I've been starting to do it, over the last couple of years. One thing that I've done to myself is, because it's so flat and there are long stretches where it's extremely boring, one of the exercises that my coach has me do is to help run on tired legs, is splitting up either one day where I'll do 3 10-mile runs 2 to 4 hours apart. So 30 miles, but it takes all day into the night to get it done. And I usually push that 4 hours. I push it. So I'll do 10 miles, rest 4 hours, 10 miles, rest 4 hours. And then the other one is that he has me do is do 20 miles, 3 consecutive days. So it's 60 miles over 3 days. So running on tired legs. And I'll take either one of those 20-mile days or one of the 10-mile runs, and I'll do it on a track.
Clever.
Nice and boring.
Will test your boring and flat. So
Yeah, Coach Caleb will say about this race, find ways to make it boring, whether it's a track or a treadmill or ways to test your mental strength. I'm curious, I'm going to ask either Coach Steve or Jason, since y'all have done this race several times before. Is there something in particular you wish you had known when you were new to this race and you were just getting into the training?
I think just the unpredictability of the weather in terms of the wind. That was a little bit rough, but so you just like every ultra, you got to be prepared for everything. Just make sure you have like the proper gear, even if it's in a drop bag or crew vehicle, so you don't have to carry it the whole time. But just be ready kind of for anything.
And we will talk about that in the next section, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, was there anything in particular for you, Jason, you wish you had known when you got going as a newbie for this race?
I'm a researcher. I research everything to the nth degree. So I had watched every YouTube video I could find. I'd listened to every podcast. Steve. Anything I could find on running ultras, because this was my first 100 mile. I just absorbed it all in. So I knew a lot, but there was so much that I didn't know what to expect because I had never experienced it myself. So I didn't know what to expect. But I did had a library of information to rely on.
And what I think I'm gathering from what Jason just said, and I've told my runners as well, is part of what makes your first 100 miler so cool is that it is a big experiment. So if this is your first 100 miler, ultra 100K, that's part of the fun. Even if you fail and you don't end up finishing, God forbid, but I mean, even if that's what happens, this is a big old experiment and you learn and you gather data points, and that's kind of cool. You know,
until you do it, you don't know what to expect.
Right.
And it's I don't, like you said, it's just a huge learning experiment the whole time. So
yeah. So I want to pivot to my newbies here. So I'm gonna put my Blackbeard's newbies. I'm gonna put Jackie and Molly on the spot a little bit, and I'm curious, what are you guys doing outside of running right now that's helping with your training, ancillary stuff that you guys are doing? It's okay, just jump in.
Okay. Hey, so what I've been doing is I'm used to doing triathlons. So what really benefits me is swimming. But honestly, it's been too cold. So no, that's not happening right now. Okay. I'm trying to get used to the weather. But I've been doing a lot of biking. So I've been incorporating that. And also strength training and core. I've been doing a lot of that.
Is there, I should ask, are you following one of the Team Wicked Bong Proof plans, or are you, is there a specific resource that you're liking?
So I'm using Coach Caleb and his training plan. And it's pretty good so far. I'm getting, again, I've done a lot of marathons, so I'm just trying to survive right now, to be honest, with just the running load. And like every weekend, usually in a marathon, you break it up, you'll do like a 10 miler and things. No. So, I'm just getting used to the long runs on a Saturday. And now we're ramping up to Saturday and Sunday where, those two. So yeah, just surviving, but getting it done.
And I'm in the same place as you, Molly. I'm using the Coach Caleb's plans, And I'm at the point now where I'm starting to get out of the comfort zone. You know, I'm used to doing those long runs, but now all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, 23 miles. And looking ahead, I kind of had a panic mode of 36 miles. Like, where am I going to run 36 miles at? So trying to, you know, wrap my head around that. Asked me 2 weeks ago and I was just flying high. It was fantastic. I was spot on with my runs. They felt amazing. I was going to nail this. And had no doubt whatsoever, working out with kettlebells. I don't have a gym, kind of limited on time. I'm a teacher doing AP classes in a new subject area, so not a lot of time. Now, yesterday, my poor husband, I only got that run done because he dragged me around on a bike. So I'm at this point right now where I'm like, oh, wow, am I gonna, you know, running sucks. I hate this and everything hurts and I'm dying. So I'm like, you know what, this is great because this is gonna be exactly how I feel. You know, he's like, well, you know, why don't you just, you know, call it quits? And I'm like, no, because this would be my old 40 at Blackbeard. It's like, I need to get used to the pain. So I'm trying to make sure I stay on that balance of it hurts, but I want to make sure it's not pushing an injury or anything. So, you know, it's kind of like hoping for the best, but doing a little bit of strength training and really not trying to overload yourself so much that you do cause that injury or a strain.
And I feel like we could spend all day talking about some of the stuff you guys just said, but I think we're going to move on to the next section. I like where Jackie ended that. Nothing crazy new. If you're going to suddenly start training for, or not suddenly, if you're going to start training for your first 100-miler, don't all of a sudden decide to also start powerlifting right now. Might not be the best choice. But, you know, the kettlebells that you're used to doing, awesome. Yes, exactly. Listen to your body. But also make sure your crew, and we're going to let Carolyn's going to be all over this, make sure your crew understands that it's okay to take a rest. Language needs to be rethought a little bit, especially if they're going to be there race weekend, you know, and that's fun. That's a fun conversation to have. So one of the reasons that training can feel all over the place right now is because Blackbeards is not a typical race. You have the environment, the conditions, it's flat, it's point to point, but then all of a sudden there's a bridge and there's weather. And that's why our Ultra Pirates are so cool. You sign up knowing that. And so I want to zoom out a little bit and I want to talk about what makes this experience unique. So we're going to talk to some of our vets. We're going to put John and Stephen and Luke and Leanne on the spot. And I would like to get a sense of things you didn't understand, things you learned, things that have changed how you're approaching this race as you come back. So I'm going to start with, I think we'll start with John. And I'm curious to hear you talk a little bit about the weather, the coastal exposure, the wind, the bridges, whatever you want to talk about, John. Yeah, go for it.
Exposure is definitely the word. Before my first Blackbeards 2 years ago, the great storm that had us turn around at the halfway point, I'd done mostly trail running, and I was used to, if there's going to be wind or, you know, any kind of weather, you were semi-insulated to some degree. But at Blackbeards, man, there's the ocean, and then there's sand dunes and you. And, you know, the wind might be coming right at your face or from the side. Both are their own challenge. There's nowhere to hide from the rain and the wind. So you got to go into it just knowing, you know, that's part of what I'm coming for. You know, you just got to go in knowing that it's going to be exposed. There are going to be some elements that you deal with, but that's half of what you're taking from it.
And John, Marvin asked, he's running the 100-mile, he's a newbie to Blackbeards, and he asked, in the past, does the wind typically present as a tailwind, a headwind? Carolyn's laughing because I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, it's an every wind. Very rarely during my two experiences was it a solid tailwind for long at all. The vast majority of the time it was a crosswind. And just one thing to look out for with that, you're going to watch out for sandblasting. You know, lots of people worried about with the exposure getting sunburn and stuff. I'll tell you right now, my calves were raw last year. So you know, maybe some high socks or something.
Yeah. And I know people have recommended in the past your sunscreen, your chapstick, your buff to cover your face. Yeah.
Also at nighttime, you might want some sort of like clear eye protection or something. I've made the mistake 2 years in a row now having to wear sunglasses at 3 in the morning. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the sand doesn't stop because the sun went down.
And you know what? Someone do me a favor, especially you, John, because I'm pretty sure you've done this before. If I know I have a favorite, so if you can't find yours, I can find mine later. But can you drop a link to a resource in the chat with those clear lenses?
I don't have a link at the ready at the moment, but what I can do is the Blackbeard's Facebook group.
Perfect.
I can drop a link in that sometime this evening as soon as I get out of show.
Yes, Steve. Anyone that's got a clear lensed glass, please drop a link. I've got a Tifosi I like. Jason's got a Gooder he likes. Just drop it in the chat and put it in the Facebook group.
Tifosi has my vote.
Yes, same here. So then I kind of want to ask the same question of Luke, because Luke's got a lot of experience with this race. Luke, just things that you've learned about the bridges. John didn't really talk about the long stretches, the birds. Go for it. You're muted by the way.
As John was saying, I think the sand is probably the biggest thing. I think from like the first time when I ran it, I wasn't ready for that. I think for me, most of the time is headwind. Tifosi is definitely a great brand. You can actually get a kind that you can exchange lenses.
Yep.
So if you can bring your lenses with you, you can change it while you're running. The bridges, that's a different story. The cool thing about the bridges is that you can actually use different muscles because it's up and down. So, and they are pretty long. I think it was like 3 or 4 miles. So, your throat muscles kind of get a little rest. Last year was good. There was no dead birds, but there is a lot of carcasses along the sides, which I guess, it's a little different experience for everybody. But
for those
for
of
some
us
reason, I think last year they cleaned up, so
for
there was
those of
nothing
us who
there.
aren't from coastal areas, can you guys explain what you mean by carcasses and dead birds?
So I think what happened is that because it's pretty windy on the bridge, the birds kind of flying around and get hit by a car, and it's just graveyard, pretty much.
So just it's just a unique part of the experience. I was kind of curious, Leanne, you've done this race before, and I was just wondering, what do you do? We've been talking about, we don't want to scare people off, but this is a coastal race. So what do you do to manage your mental, where you are mentally and physically when the conditions aren't cooperating for you?
Oh, well, I kind of just look at it as it's either I can stay inside and do nothing, or I can get something accomplished and feel good about it at the end of the day. And it's good race training because, you never know what the weather's going to be like when you go to the race, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular, or I guess I should say, is there anything in particular you do during training is there a cue or a mantra where if you catch yourself during training, Leanne, and you're like, I can't let, this is going to happen on race day. I'm going to get to this point where the sand or the wind or whatever starts to get me down. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm kind of putting you on the spot with this one.
I'm not quite sure I get what you are trying to ask of me. But one of the things that motivates me on training days is I run with my son's dog, and she doesn't care if it's raining, if it's blowing 40. She's ready to go.
Yeah. I
And that's a
I
good
love that.
motivator. I don't know what I'm going to do on the race day, but I figure all the days going out when it's nasty.
Maybe she needs to come
We'll
down.
have to be ready.
Maybe she needs to be at mile or that 3 a.m. point.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, all right, Stephen, you've done this. This will be your third attempt, right?
Yeah.
So what are you doing differently this time in terms of how you approach the, the wind, the bridges, the conditions?
I am pretty much just going to embrace the suck. Like no matter what, it's gonna happen. Like you're going to be getting hit in the face by sands, hit in the face with the wind. Like the cars are still going to be going at 50 miles per hour, so it's going to even hit with more wind hitting after you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's just kind of like embrace the suck. Like I'll have different music on, like thanks to my two kids, like I'll have K-pop Demon Hunters playing nonstop. And then it's just a lot of just like mantras. So it's like you'll probably hear me randomly at like 1 a.m. just singing Just Keep Swimming. And like frolicking that. And one thing I've learned that's great about this course is random people will just hand out like a hand of pills, be like, do you want these? You just say yes. Like just say that yes, be like, okay, and you just go on your merry way. I don't know if those actually happen or hallucinations, but that's pretty much how I'm going into this.
I love it. That's a fun tip. I've done that before too. Have other people put stuff on my playlist for me. And I was curious. What is the airspeed velocity of was it a laden swallow or an unladen swallow?
Well, it depends on if it's African or European.
Cool. Do you have an answer for us?
No, I don't.
Okay, just checking. Any Monty Python fans out there? Cool. We did have a question from Courtney. She's doing the 100 mile. She was curious about gear, and there are a few questions specifically here that I think will help everyone. So anyone that's run this race before, gaiters, yes or no? And you can go off mic and just
I don't think you need them. I think if you have good socks, above your ankle, that's all you need. You don't need gaiters.
Yeah, I've not used them on mine. So,
anyone who does like gaiters on this one? Okay. I think we're going with a no on gaiters, as long as you've got socks that are protecting and keeping the sand out of the socks. Oh, sorry, gaiters. Yes, Alicia, absolutely. So a gaiter is basically like a, oh geez, how do I say this? Like a I don't want to say a covering that goes over the ankle and covers the gap between the sock and the cuff of the shoe. We're talking about it because the sand does blow around quite a bit, and it can help to keep the sand out. But it sounds like for most people, they're finding that they're not particularly necessary as long as you've got something that is not a, what do you call it, an ankle sock. So gaiters, we're going with a no on that one. But of course, everyone's different. And then we had another question that I thought was real helpful, or a very good question. Changing shoes during the 100 miler, and y'all can go off mic and just give your opinion real quick. Stephen, you'll get more sand down your pants than in your shoes. So gaiters for gaiters. I think that's just called. Never mind. So shoes, opinions on changing shoes during the race. And we'll talk about drop bags. So even if you don't have a crew, you can potentially change shoes if you want to. But go ahead and off mic, what do you guys think?
Yeah, this is Steve. I usually like to half a size up halfway through, or like 3/4 of the way through, just so I have enough room for when your feet start to swell, if they do. It's always good to just have it in your back pocket.
Very cool. Anyone else big fan of changing shoes?
I had 4 different pairs of shoes in 2024 because of the torrential rain that we had. Last year, I only
that.
changed them once, and it was towards the end, and I put on a little more cushioned shoe than I had been wearing just to help with that a little bit for comfort.
And as someone who worked in a specialty running store for 7 years, I will say this: nothing new on race day. Please, for the love of God, do not suddenly start trying out a new shoe at Blackbeard's in mile 50. Please make sure these are shoes you have done some amount of training in. It can be a new or fresh version of a shoe that you have done training in, although I might still put in a run in them just to make sure you've got the laces locked down and all that stuff. But and I like Jason's suggestion about maybe you like a little more cushion when your feet are built or beat up, or a little, does anyone have, I feel like we kind of covered it. Shoes, we can change them out. We'll talk about drop bags coming up. Okay, and then running overnight. So someone was asking about gear, or sorry, many people have asked about gear specifically for running overnight. Can someone who's got some ideas about any, and this can be any of our ambassadors, the weather overnight? Can you guys talk a little bit about that and what gear might be helpful?
It gets cold at night. It gets freaking cold. So jacket, definitely jacket. Even like plastic bag or a poncho will help, but be ready for cold nights.
And I want to preface this by saying Lucas from upstate New York?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
yeah,
I am.
Upstate New York. So he is saying that as someone who is running through cold and snow, and I've seen some ridiculous things. Go ahead. Anyone else? Go ahead and jump in with your recommendations.
Yeah, I would say like to have a lightweight shell. Yeah, and very dark.
Very dark.
Yeah.
There's no street lights for long stretches.
And we will, and Leanne is, I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to talk about required gear in terms of lights and stuff like that. So I think what I'm hearing from everyone is options. Shell, would you bring an actual winter jacket or no?
I think
That
I
might be a
had
little too much, I think.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think I had the like a lightweight down jacket that was able to just throw on if I needed to. I don't know. I don't remember if I used it or not, which is not helpful.
Because it's so unpredictable, layers rather than one big heavy coat.
Yep.
Multiple different layers. So
Yeah.
Things you can zip and unzip to ventilate, things that do ventilate. So holes under the arms, holes on the back. Anything else, guys?
I just
So-
want to throw out there, it's not gear, but everybody's saying how awful it is at night because it is really awful. But usually as a volunteer, what I've seen is like, if you can make it through the night, you're usually going to be fine because you've literally made it through like the worst part of all of it. So don't let it get you too hard. Just keep thinking about the sunrise. And it is truly one of the most beautiful sunrises you'll ever see.
That's why you're doing it, right? This is beautiful. You're going to see
I personally
stars.
like the night, especially if it's somewhat clear, because the stars are amazing.
You may have been one of the fewest people to ever smile at me at an aid station at night, and I appreciate it.
One small piece of gear that like some people don't even think about is getting a buff and having that around your neck that will keep your neck warm. And then if your face does get cold, like you can just put up over your nose, warm up your face, and it'll also protect you from the sand during the night.
Yeah. Hot hands. Does anyone use hot hands at this race? The what I'm talking about, unnecessary. What do you wish you had them? Steve saying no.
No, I think
I don't
we
use
may
them,
have
but-
had them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
mean,
have like a
Dennis-
lightweight glove too.
Lightweight glove. There you go.
Definitely
I
something.
brought the hot hands for people to grab if they needed them in the middle of the night last year, and almost nobody grabbed any of them. So
Okay. All right. So we could talk gear all day.
One real quick thing on hot hands, they're probably more important for your crew than they are for you.
Yes. Yes, I was going to say that.
I love you guys. Taking care of your people. You got to take care of your people. They're taking care of you. So We have been talking about things that very much point out why the crew is so important to Blackbeard's Revenge. You're gonna be looking for these volunteers and the crew to take care of you when you are starting to get tired and a little bit crabby. And so we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna talk about how to crew this race well. If you are here as a crew member, you are an amazing human. If you are here as a runner, please pass these tips on to your crew. So several of you asked about whether people can run with you or pace you. So I'm going to talk about a couple of logistics. Even if someone is only running a mile with you, they need to be registered as a pacer. Gretchen, you were asking if your daughter can run that last mile with you. Absolutely. I will make sure that I drop that link in the chat. Someone else had asked, can I pace members on my relay team? So yes, if you're running the relay, you can run with someone else on your team. Just make sure you keep your bib on so that we can identify you. We know you're with the race. We know that you have medical information available. However, and this is very important, if you are running the relay, please, only one relay bib can cross the finish line. It will mess up your results if more than one relay bib crosses the line from the same team. Another good question, we got Jason. He's doing the 100 mile. He's a newbie to Blackbeards. Can someone meet us on the course to provide extra, hydration, supplements, etc.? And this is very important, so everyone. People can meet you on the course. It does not have to be at an aid station. However, they cannot drive next to you. That is dangerous to the other runners. They can absolutely hand you things from the car. The car needs to be parked. Again, dangerous to other runners. Obviously, we can't have people impeding traffic. That is not very polite to the people who are letting us put this race on. But they don't have to meet you at an aid station. Just have to make sure that you're not receiving aid from a moving vehicle or having a moving vehicle pace you. A bicycle counts as a moving vehicle. Bicycles cannot pace you. So just a couple rules to get out of the way from some of the pre-submitted questions. We are going to turn this section over to Carolyn and Julie. Carolyn is Gammy Glowfinger. She's the one that's been doing your Crew Tip Tuesday videos. Julie has participated twice, I think, as crew and pacer, and this is finally her year to run the race, but she has quite a bit of experience as well. So first, Gammy Glowfingers, I know you can answer this, give some detail on this one. Can a crew member run across the finish line with the runner? What does that look like for the crew, the pacers, the team that has joined you?
Yeah, so you don't want to be running with your runner unless that you're registered as a pacer, right? But the cool thing is where the finish line is, assuming the finish line is where the finish line is supposed to be, where the finish line is, you can actually see your runner coming and you can scream and cheer and yell and quote unquote run through the parking lot and that area as they come through the finish line. Definitely a much safer way to do it and legal from a BBI perspective.
And we don't mind if you join them and kind of run alongside them. We just want to make sure that if you're going to run a full-on mile with someone, that we have you registered. We just need to know for medical reasons, safety reasons. So I'm going to ask this one of both Gammy and Julie. What makes a strong BBR crew? What makes someone a very helpful, supportive piece of our runners race day?
I'm going to let Julie take this one.
Oh, hey, Julie, we can't hear you. Nope, I don't have you yet. You're not muted, but we can't hear you talking.
Do you want me to take it, Megan, until we can get her?
Yeah, go ahead. But Julie, when you're ready, jump in.
Yeah, definitely, Julie. So I think that the most important thing is you got to be enthusiastic. I mean, if you're out there and you're cold and you're tired and you're in a grumpy mood, too bad. You're not going to share that with your runner. You're not going to show it to your runner. So you got to be on the up and up all the time. I think an ideal crew is a crew that can do things in shifts. So like Steve shared about his crew that comes from all over the country, and they did things in shifts. And so he had a 7 a.m. shift and a 7 p.m. shift. So you've got a fresh group of people. We tried to do that. Caitlin and I tried to do that, and we were somewhat successful. Our issue is that when we were off shift, we were too hyped up and too excited to really rest. But that's our issue, kind of thing. You need to be a good problem solver. And this last Crew Tip Tuesday really talks about some true stories about problem solving. You just can't imagine the kinds of challenges and things that'll come up. And being able to just jump ahead and solve the problem. So I think those are my big things with a good crew. You don't have to be experienced. We all crewed our first time at some point in time. So experience is not necessary. But really understanding your runner and being able to, so this is another thing, because I'm a mom, right? So, you can't baby your runner. You can't say, oh, I know this is really hard. Maybe you shouldn't do this. No. There may be times for some compassion, but most of the time you really got to give it tough love. So it's like, look, bud, you're the one who signed up for this. You're the one who wanted to do this. Come on, move those legs. What are you talking about? Kind of thing. So you need to be able to do a little bit of both, but not too much compassion.
And and hey, Julie, can you check in real quick? Can we hear you? You're muted. Hey, Julie, leave the call and come back in. But I am going to ask, so, we're talking about like being flexible, but to be flexible, we have to have information. So what do you need from your runner in order to be prepared, in order to be able to be flexible? What do they need to provide to you ahead of time?
I think one of the biggest things that helps me is knowing where the aid stations are and the distance between each aid station, because they're going to get tired. They're not going to know where they are, how far the next one is, even though they think they're going to know. And so being able to provide that to them, I think is important. Knowing what their goals are. So, from my perspective, if you're at the start line of this race, you've already won, right? I don't know. If you get to the start line, you're in good shape. So your runner may want to finish the 100 miler, but they may have incremental goals along the way. Knowing how much time they want to spend at the aid stations, because if they want to spend 10 minutes at an aid station, then you can be counting them down and help them get on the road again. And I know my ambassadors or our ambassadors are laughing about this, because every single thing I told you, you guys have told me.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, what you said is very helpful. When I've crewed before, I specifically ask, how do you want me to talk to you? And hopefully this is someone that I know, so this isn't a new thing for me to give them tough love. But I'll ask them that. And then, I think a big one is providing your, runners, make sure you provide your crew with the aid station chart. Just give them the raw data, because then they will do with it what makes sense, and they'll be able to ask you what question, what their questions are. Runners, I guess, any big tips that you've provided your crew with in the past that have made it easier for them?
Can I jump in before the runners really quick?
Yes, please.
Okay, sorry. I was just dying about this one because this became relevant for us last year. Having like if you are going to provide a crew to somebody, having that runner write down or like allocate specific colored socks or specific sock types for specific times in a very specific location, and not anyone touching any single freaking thing in the cart except for having like a level of organization for that is really important. Because otherwise everybody's like, oh, John just asked for a coat. Which coat? Where's the coat? Now we need another set of socks. You drove out this car, the other car, and he didn't know all this happened. So thank God we wouldn't have told him. It would have been a whole thing. But like that, having that organization is really important. And I know that not everybody loves tracking and stuff. And like there is some level of tracking with Blackbeards, but also the Outer Banks is kind of shoddy with stuff. So like if they can like Life 360 it and stuff, because it's sometimes things happen, sometimes tech fails, and having Life 360 when you can't get a hold of like your running or you're thinking, oh crud, they needed me to meet them somewhere and I'm not 100% sure exactly where that is, that was really helpful.
Hey,
and like yeah,
drop that link in the resources, please.
yeah, Life 360 will do. And then like Carolyn was saying earlier, oh no, I just lost it. What did you say? It'll
Live
come back to me
360.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't remember what I was going to say after that, but that's okay. I'm pregnant, so like my brain like it explodes sometimes. So if I remember it, I'll come back to it and throw it in here.
But organization is really key, and I'm so glad. Julie, are you? Nope, we cannot hear you. That's.
So I want to say something that I would give credit to Julie with, because I thought this was an amazing idea. We were talking earlier about how tough it is at nighttime, and knowing your runner, and maybe some of them do best at nighttime, but not all of them do. And even in that nighttime, there's still going to be tough times, right? And Julie's crew lines their luggage rack with battery lights so that she knows that her crew is in the vicinity. The whole reason why I became Gammy Glowfingers is that I learned that at nighttime and at the start of the race too, people could see me. And so that seemed to make a difference, not just to my runner, but to the other runners too, who I love to cheer on.
Yeah. And go ahead, Luke. Or wait, who was that? John or Stephen?
It was Steve. Yeah. I was going to say, if you have more than one crew, if you have like 2 or 3 people or 4, some people bring a lot of people, but designate a crew chief, and that person makes all the calls and deals out the roles and responsibilities and everything, and have that conversation before you get there. The crew chief kind of does everything.
Yeah. And that can be important, because when you have a lot of options, you need someone to be the person who is responsible for saying, this is what we're doing at 3 a.m, who is the trusted person who the runner trusts.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and transition, because we're talking a lot about crews, but it is absolutely, Trivium puts this race together in a way that it is absolutely possible to do this without a crew, between volunteers and frequent aid stations and drop bags and extremely well-marked courses. That's the whole goal. So Caitlin is our volunteer aid station captain. She has done this several times. She has crewed John as well. So Caitlin, what I'm kind of curious about is, why do you keep coming back to do this? You are admittedly not a runner, and yet you keep coming back and taking care of these people. And I just want everyone who's on this call who is a runner to know who they are going to encounter when they are out there and suffering. And I just want you guys to know you are in good hands. So Caitlin, why do you keep doing this?
I keep doing it. This is going to sound awful, but a big reason why I keep doing it is because of how miserable everybody seems to be at a certain point throughout the race. And usually when people are that miserable, you've got like 2 kinds of people. You've got the people who are like, shut up, don't talk to me, like I'm going. And then you've got the people who are like, hey, I need somebody to say something to me. And so like, I'll give you a dad joke or something and like try to move forward with it. But usually that also gets to talking about, well, why are you here? Like, why did you do this to begin with? And it's really cool because people have all kinds of reasons. Everywhere from what I've heard is like overcoming things as serious as addiction. And this is the new thing that kind of helps keep them going in life. Or I've heard it where they want their son to look at them like they're a superhero. and that they can do things just like the people in the movies and all of that. I've heard people talk about it from, just getting a healthier lifestyle or having something of their own. And so I really enjoy hearing the whys that people have as to why they put themselves through this and why they are determined to continue to move on with it. And I think I've been told in the past that when we have those conversations, it makes a big difference. And I really love the stories and hearing all of that. So, yep.
Now you made me cry. But that, it sounds cliche, but that is why people volunteer and why they crew. It gives us back as much to do that and for us to put these races on as it does for you guys to feel that sense of accomplishment when you cross the finish line. And thank you. So thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, anyone who's on this call who has volunteered, anyone who's crewed, not just for Blackbeards, but otherwise. I guess I'll ask you one more question real quick. I guess what people don't realize is that hopefully you feel like you're actually part of the race. You're not just stuck at an aid station. You feel like you're actually making the race, to us, you guys make the race happen. We couldn't do this without you. Is that your experience?
I think there would have been a lot of lost pieces along the way. I know that nobody would have had any food or aid at the last aid station I was at because the wind was so rough. So, if I wasn't there, you guys might not have made it. But no.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question? I'm so sorry. You
Oh,
guys
no,
brain tonight.
Just so everyone knows, Caitlin's going to be how pregnant when she's volunteering?
7 months, but I promise I'm going to get the numbers down. There's good organization there.
Oh, she's going to be fine. I guess we were just saying we can't do this without you guys. You are literally part of this race.
You were talking about the community. Yes. Okay. So I absolutely love the community that we developed from all of this and whatnot and how I feel part of the race. The first year I did it was the year from hell where it was raining, sand everywhere. They actually got storage units for us and those were not enough. So what you guys went through was insane. But, that was a year where everyone felt like they were in it together. And, as I said, I get so invested in your stories and whatnot. You don't know it, but I will track so many different numbers of runners and see them throughout the race, or I will drive by specifically in the middle of the night to see if you guys are doing okay. I've yelled out the window to people who don't know me just to ask if they're okay because I knew them from one aid station 2 times ago or something like that. So yeah, I feel like I'm a part of the race. And there was a guy last year who unfortunately did not end up finishing, but he made it. He said he made it about 19 more miles because I hounded him on it and kept checking in along the way. So, I feel the volunteers make a huge difference, even from our own perspectives, whether we see a runner who is struggling already and we know that we need to check in with them, but not do the baby gloves check in, right? Really, really check in and get them talking through it. So yeah, I feel like I'm a part of the race too. And I love the community that we build from it.
And I feel like we have a lot of very experienced volunteers who work this race. So if you are coming in solo, you are going to be fine. You are in Caitlin's hands. So we're going to transition. There we go. We're going to transition into a couple of bits of logistics. So I'm going to take over. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. So we're going to talk about a few things that you guys really need to be paying attention to if you're not already. I'm not going to sit here and go through this row by row. You guys can do that on your own. This is just the aid station chart. So there is a lot of important information on here. I'm going to drop the aid station chart link into, geez. Well, that was not a good idea. Hold on. No, I'll do it later. But the athlete guide, the aid station chart is going to show you pretty much everything you need to know. So we'll just look at a couple things here real quick. First of all, all right. So first of all, you've got where is it? Okay, you have manned aid stations and unmanned aid stations. Your manned aid stations, the manned aid stations are going to have real food. Your unmanned aid stations are going to have your water, your tailwind, and your Huma gels. All aid stations will have feminine products, electrolytes, and an aids, or what am I trying to say? An medical kit. You may not see them sitting out, but if you need that, ask the person who is working the aid station and they will grab it for you. We just don't want stuff flying away. And then a couple other things to point out. The relay exchanges are noted on here. My relay people, you can exchange at any spot that is designated as a relay exchange. Remember, you can decide how many miles each person runs as long as each person runs at least once. The aid station also notes location descriptions. On the location descriptions, you're going to see potentially notes about parking. Please make sure that you adhere to those. If it says something about not parking somewhere, please don't park there. And then your drop bags are noted on here. So you get, let's see, what is it? 4 different drop bags, and then you have one at the finish line as well if you want your warm clothing there at the finish. Your drop bags are going to be, well, we'll talk about drop bags when we get to the athlete guide. And then this also notes your porta potties. So I'm sorry, your potties, I should say. It'll note where they are. So just if you want to keep track of that, there you go. And then we always have salty, we have sweet, we have real food, we have hot food. So if you're cold overnight, if you're not familiar with running overnight, one of the ways to stay warm is gear. The other way is from the inside. So we specifically position the hot food when we know people are going to be running when it's getting colder. So you've got lots of broth options. There are going to be veggie and meat options. I'm sorry, veggie and meat broth options. Woo. We have sandwiches. There's a lot of real food options, but we publish this ahead of time specifically so that you can practice with these things. Tailwind, just in case you're unfamiliar, is your electrolyte and carb and hydration source. And then that's pretty much it. I'm going to let you guys go through the aid station chart on your own. If you have questions, obviously, I will stay on this call as long as you guys want, but I cannot see the in-call chat right now. But we are going to take a look at the athlete guide together. Hypothetically, all of you have already looked at this because when you completed your registration, you said that you looked at it. But now that you're actually in the thick of it, you're probably starting to think about things a little bit more. So a couple things. First of all, there are going to be 3 options for a mandatory virtual pre-race meeting. This is going to be our chance as the staff to make sure that you are aware of any last minute changes. There will be 3 options. It'll be virtual. They just haven't given them to me yet. They also have not given me the location for the pre-race athlete dinner / packet pickup gear check. I'm hounding them. But your schedule is in here. The shuttle is in here. We did have someone ask, Cameron was asking, I'm sorry, not Cameron. Someone was asking about the, what should we say? Did you like taking the shuttle? So any of my ambassadors that have done the shuttle before, does anyone want to chime in on that? Was it helpful to be able to stay at the finish line and just shuttle to the start?
It was definitely better to be shuttled from the finish line to the starting line than, in the past was the other way. You would get to the finish line, then you had to wait for your shuttle to be shuttled back to the starting line, which took hours and hours. It's 100 miles. So yeah, I think it's definitely useful.
Cool.
There's also no Uber out there. It's going to be high season, and where you guys are running towards is not heavily populated. So don't rely on one of those.
Good to know. If you didn't add the shuttle during registration, you can add it afterwards in your run sign up account. And then this is an important one, your cutoffs. So the course cutoff everyone's aware of, but make sure that you're also aware of any of these aid station cutoffs. Richard was asking, is 32-hour cutoff a hard cutoff? It is a hard cutoff. We have a lot of different ordinances and governing bodies that we are working with on this race to have it happen. So it is, it's a hard cutoff. So just make sure everyone is aware of these. And then, there we go. The athlete rules. Please go through these. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but a couple of important things. Please make sure that no bikes or cars are pacing you. Please make sure that you check in at all of the manned aid stations. That can be as simple as, if you are someone who is quite quick and you're at the front and you don't want to waste time, look at someone in the eyeballs and yell at them, I am bib number 1, I'm going. But just make sure that they hear you. If you're going to be hanging out there for a while, just make sure that they hear when you leave, because at some point, if we can't find you, we need to be able to go to an aid station and say, hey, did so-and-so check in here and did they leave? Otherwise, we will freak out. So please check in at your aid stations. Please make sure that your bib is on the front and it is visible. Otherwise, we don't want to have issues with timing. And then the other really big one, the mandatory gear. So, all right. I think the best way of explaining this is we have headlamps or flashlights or waist belt lamps. So a light so that you can see the course, because as Leanne said, some areas are not well lit at all. If you are used to running somewhere where there's a street light every half a block, that will not necessarily be the case in all areas of the course. And then the other things, the reflective vest and the red rear flashing lights, those are so cars can see you. So, if you have a specific item that you are wondering about, you can drop the link in the comments and I'll take a look at it later. But first ask yourself, is this accomplishing both of those goals? And then also just make sure that you have the mandatory backups as well. You can show those to us either on Friday at packet pickup, or you can show them to us, if you're not coming to packet pickup on Friday, you can show them to us on Saturday at your starting line, 100 mile, 100K. And then someone had asked, if we're coming on Friday, do I have to get there to the beginning of the race at 4:30? No, that's just when we'll be there. If we already checked your gear and you got your bib and you're ready to go, you definitely do not have to be there right at 4:30. Great question. So let's see. That's the main thing with the rules. Our relay rules, the other big thing, and this applies to to everyone, our crew, our pacers. Please make sure that your team's bib number is visible on your vehicle. You can use those little paint markers or whatever. And we just don't want it to be bigger than a 12-passenger van. We don't want RVs out there. And then another big one, please just make sure that if you're hanging out waiting for your runner, the food is for the team member or the runner who is currently running. It is not a buffet. And then the crew and pacer rules. The other big one is just only one pacer at a time. You can't have a big group of people pacing you. And then same thing for the pacers. Just make sure that you are leaving the food for the paid athletes. We don't require that our pacers pay to register. We just need your medical information. So just please, pacers, make sure that you register so that we have your information. Drop bags. You can read this. The drop bags are gigantic. You can put so much stuff in these drop bags. A couple of things. Please make sure that you use our system to label them with your drop bag, the drop bag location you want it going to and your bib number. Otherwise, it's a free-for-all. There are a lot of people. Can everyone make sure that their mics are muted? There are a lot of people running, and we need it. We need it to be clear. So the other thing is double knot just tie tightly the strings at the top so that stuff doesn't fall out of your bag. And then when you are coming into an aid station, if you have a drop bag, the volunteers are going to look at you. They're going to ask if you have a drop bag. They're going to see your bib number. You don't even have to tell them your bib number. They're just going to go grab your drop bag if you tell them that you're looking for a drop bag. And you can get out whatever you want. You can change your shoes. You can get your change clothes, whatever it is. And then you can give your bag back to them. You can put stuff back in that bag. Those bags will end up back at the finish line. It's not an immediate, instantaneous process, but they will go back to the finish line. Yeah, it's pretty simple. You just, when you go in, the volunteer will ask you if you have a drop bag, and then they'll go grab it for you. Let's see. And then the other, the course, you guys can take a look at that. I was just going to pop into this part here. There is a U-turn around mile 88 or so. The volunteers will tell you to make sure that you do this, but just make sure that you go all the way down to the end, get your eye patch, show it at the aid station so they know that you ran the entire thing. Wear it, I guess. And then the finish line is at the wreck. If you guys didn't see it, we are finishing at the wreck again this year. Finally, your first, if you're a runner, your meal and either a beer or a soda is included. They will be open for 33 straight hours. The only rule is that they cannot serve alcohol between, I think it's 2 and 10 a.m. I'll check on that in a little bit. But if you finish between that time and you want to come back and get your free drink afterwards, they are absolutely happy to do that. And then let's see. So you guys can look through the course again. Aid stations we already talked about. It is a cup-free course. We will give you your silicone cup, but we will not have paper cups out on the course. And then the only other thing, and this is, two things, this is really important. If you have not been getting emails from us and you are registered, please send me a message. Or I'm sorry, you can email Kathy. She's the one who's on here, but send me a message because that means that there's something funky going on. It's either in your spam or there's a couple of things that could have happened. So just make sure you do that. We don't want to wait until the week before the race to suddenly find out you've read you've gotten none of our communications. And then Race Joy will have that updated. It is a way for your crew, your spectators to track you. Just remember it can drain your battery a little bit. Whole other conversation. You're not always going to have a connection. So crews, do not solely rely on Race Joy to track your runners. Make sure that you have some idea of when they should be arriving at each aid station, give or take. And then there is an FAQ page on here. You guys can take a look at that on your own. But I just wanted to make sure we went through a couple of those important things. Let's see. So a couple of other questions that we got ahead of time. Cameron was asking about lights on the website. I created this year with suggestions from, where did it go? Oh, I can't find it now. With suggestions from some of the past participants and the staff, we created a link with light suggestions, and these will all match up with the mandatory gear. So I'm going to pop that in there. That's in the chat now. There's a lot of really good suggestions in there, but if anyone else has any other ideas, pop them in the chat. And then who was it asking? Oh, it was anonymous. If you're doing the relay, do you have to have a pack? Absolutely not. If you're doing the relay, everyone, just carry whatever you need. The aid stations are at most, I want to say, I think there's one that's got a big gap of 8 miles, but most of them are around 6 miles apart. But again, that depends on your pace and your, what you are comfortable with as a runner. All right. So I think we can move on to any questions that we're getting in the live Q&A. Martina's asking, where is the athlete guide? The athlete guide, I am going to drop into the in-call chat right now, but that's the presentation that I was just going through. And then, yes, Caitlin, we do have extra silicone cups if you lose your drinking cup. And then Barry, can your crew drive to the start line and stay there for the start? Hey, Barry, can you come off mic and clarify what you're asking? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, rather than the shuttle, like, excuse me, can your crew member take you to the start line?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You can get to the start line however you want. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'd love that because then they can cheer you off. Awesome. And so some pre-submitted questions. All right. So, there we go. Yes. So the rec can legally not serve alcohol Sunday from 2 to 10 a.m. There's that. And then Brian, who's doing the 100-mile, was asking, we covered drop bags. We covered, I am not sure where the pasta dinner will be at. Chad was asking about the course record for the 100-mile course record. So Lee Whitaker 2023 was the male course record in 15 hours, 38 minutes and 38 seconds. And then Whitney Richmond in 2021 was the female course record, 17 hours. You guys are freaking fast. 39 minutes and 52 seconds. What do you call it? The records are in the athlete guide, but they're also on the website because we also keep track of the aid station, the age group records. So there's your 100-mile, and then your 100K are right here. So there's your 100K. Brian has a great question. If your pack is reflective, is that acceptable, or do we have to have a reflective vest? If your pack is reflective, that is absolutely fine. Some people even take reflective tape and put that on their preferred pack or their preferred jacket or whatever it is. As long as cars can see you and it is nice and reflective, you are good to go. There we go. And then this was an anonymous question. Are there cots at the aid stations? We often have cots or somewhere that you can kind of lay down, but we cannot 100% guarantee them. Stuff gets a little crazy out there. So you can absolutely take a nap at an aid station. We'll definitely have chairs for you guys to sit in. I feel like I've heard some crazy stories about people sleeping on the side of the road during this race, just kind of popping down wherever you felt comfortable. If anyone would like to share any tips, you are welcome to. Travis is asking, and I guess this is kind of a good general question, and you guys can come off mic for this one. Are people tending to stay Corolla, middle of the course, or finish line in Hatteras? What do you guys kind of, any pro tips there?
So we always do a house towards the finish line. We think positive, and we know that we're going to be pretty tired after the finish line. So we do ours through one of the rental companies that will do 2 or 3 nights. Sorry, now I'm distracted because my grandson is in Caitlin's photo there. But there's some verbos, there's, lots of options. So I think it's really, what do you want to do at the end of the race? Do you want to travel back 25 miles? Whatever you want to do. But we just do a house.
We did a house too. The first year we did it, it was south of the big bridge. I guess Rodanthe. And the problem that our crew didn't enjoy was the drive up before the start, which was a little long. So we stayed in Nags Head last year, and we actually had a house that was right on the course. So we had an extra aid stop. So that worked out perfect.
Clever. Brian's saying a night at the start, 2 nights at the finish. Brian, do you have a crew who's going to move your stuff out of the starting line house?
Yeah, we got wives and kids and families and all that. So as long as they can get up and do the drive, which with us running, I figure that's a minimal expectation.
Right. But yeah, I like that plan as well. Let's see. Oh, and I just dropped into the chat on the website. We have some suggestions about different places to stay, Verbo, Airbnb, that kind of stuff. For my locals who live in the area, is this a you better book your place now kind of thing?
Most definitely. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay. You're okay. So I'm actually staying at Avon Cottages. So, that's, where we're running. So it will be a nice aid station for myself. But Avon Cottages, I think they have like an efficiencies too. So you don't have to book like a whole house. It's kind of like a apartment kind of deal. But yeah, like if you're going to book, I would definitely book now.
Yeah. Good question from Kathleen. Will there be any places to change clothes at the aid stations? I'm pretty sure we're supposed to have the surf boxes again. If y'all are unfamiliar, they're a, help me guys, it's a portable storage.
The storage container, like what they have on a ship.
Thank you.
A shipping container. I was looking for that word so hard the other day.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. So they're basically like big shipping containers. So yes, you can go in there, you can comfortably change clothes. They're not at every aid station, but we try to put them in the miles that are at night when you might want to be changing clothes. Yeah. And if anyone's got questions, you are welcome to put them in the chat. You can come off mic. During the night, do any runners attempt to stay together? Good question from Nick. I think that's generally the plan throughout the whole race, right? Find someone, make a friend. Do you guys have any, oh, go ahead, Brendan.
Hi, first of all, thanks so much for taking the time out of y'all's day to do this for us. I've got a lot of information. I've been taking notes pretty quickly. I did want clarification on what is required of the racer. You had mentioned just shout out their name. Is it going in a book? Is this simply for safety purposes when we check into the aid stations? And secondly, I'm sorry. And secondly, compared to say, obviously it's all our responsibility to stay safe, but what's the traffic like on 12 down past Rodance compared to say summertime? Because there's a lot of traffic there come summertime.
All right, I'll go with the first one. I'll go with the, official answer, and then y'all who have run it or volunteered or crewed can talk about what it's like actually running. So when you are going through, we just ask that you make sure that someone, one of the volunteers sees you. They will write it down in a book. They will specifically check you off and make sure that they have seen you come in and seen you exit. And yes, it's for safety, because sometimes what will happen is that someone will ask us, where is so-and-so? And we need to be able to check in with the aid stations and figure out where you are, which brings up, and this is in the athlete guide, but if you are dropping, you need to let someone know that you are dropping. You can go to an aid station, or if you are closer to the finish line, you can go to the finish line. Just make sure you let a staff or a volunteer person know that you're leaving, because if not, we will be at the end of the race running around trying to figure out where you went, and you're going to be taking a nap because you're tired. So just make sure that you check in if you're dropping. My runners, talk a little bit about, I guess, let's say traffic safety, that kind of thing. Or I can talk about it.
I know somebody just a little while ago was talking about what kind of reflective stuff to have on your vest. You can't have too much lights or reflective stuff, because you will be along a white line for 99% of the strong kind. So just the brighter and more visible you can be, the better for everybody involved.
Yeah, especially at night. Yeah. Anyone else want to jump in?
Not as busy as it is during like summertime, not by a long shot, but the people who are there and driving are either people who are going to or from work, depending on what their hours work like, because we got a lot of blue collar people. or they are people who are excited and crewing or trying to get to different places, and they should be the ones paying attention on the road, but they're not always. I know last year we had a lot of scares specifically at Jeanette's Pier, to the point where like I yelled at a car, which is not something that you should be doing, but I got really mad about it. So, you know, never trust the cars. Always like be looking for yourself in all of that. But like I said, the traffic's not nearly as bad as summertime. But as John said, you're hugging the white line because there's nowhere else to go. It's just sand. When they clear that road after a storm, it's literally just the road, the white line, if you're lucky to see the white line on some parts, and then the bridges are super dangerous.
Thank you all.
Yeah, you made me think of something, Caitlin. Oh no, like a lot of times people think our mandatory gear requirements seem excessive, but it's based on a lot of experience. So
even the sand blowing makes it really hard to see the runners from our perspective, whether it's night or day. Everybody tends to blend in with it.
Yeah. Okay. But let's see.
So I just want to revisit Brendan's question about, checking in at the volunteer station. The volunteers are going to hound you. As soon as they see you come across, they're going to go, "What's your number? What's your number?" So we want you to think about giving us your number, but they're going to ask you for your number.
That's good. I was just being more concerned about the later stages when maybe my brain's not fully functional.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. We get it. Yep.
Which is also
usually we're asking people, "What's your number?" They'll yell at us and we'll be like, "Are you in or out?" And then that's when you write it down. Don't yell your name at us if you can.
But that's also why we ask you to keep your bib visible, because it makes it easier for the volunteers and the staff. And guys, we recognize that you may need to leave the call at this point. If you do, absolutely, but we'll stay on. We'll keep answering some questions. I'm going back up in the chat from things that we missed earlier. Jason was asking for the relay. Do we need to turn in our roster and who's running which legs? This is not that kind of operation, Jason. This is a pirate operation. So you can operate on whatever roster you want. It can change at the last second as long as everyone runs something and the relay exchanges happen at the relay exchange points. And then I think you're welcome. If anyone's got any good shell jacket suggestions for Martina for women specific cuts, if you want to drop them in the chat, if you've got something you really like, drop it in there. Oh, Julie, yes. Crew meeting before the race so that the runner can say what they would like, what they don't like. Does anyone want to talk about that? Like your meeting do you guys have a crew meeting? What do you guys do?
I know that last year I made up little maps that I could distribute amongst my crew. It had all the aid stations. It had big points of interest. Even had a nice little point of no return where they weren't allowed to let me bail out at. But, just giving them something physical so that everyone can all be looking at the same thing when you're in the middle of nowhere is a really good idea for organization.
Yeah. I like that. I like, John, when you do that, do you do paper maps?
Yeah, I do paper maps, and I even went as far as to like color code stuff with different colored pens. So.
I like it. Yeah, because electronics can die, internet doesn't always work. Yep.
Oh, especially down once you hit the P Island area. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, funny story. He did paper maps, which I then took photos of on my phone, which was the stupidest thing I ever could have done because then I'm sitting on my phone trying to expand it. So yeah, paper maps, making multiple copies.
Yeah, I feel like I go very analog when I'm doing any crewing or ultra related stuff. What was I gonna say? John made me think, another item that people have talked about a lot is having a small battery pack, like the little brick, what do you call it, like rectangle size one, to charge up your phone. Everyone's got different goals, so some people don't want to carry that, but that can be a real helpful tool, especially if you don't have a crew coming with you, which then brings up another point. If you are going to be using a light up vest of some sort, you have to make sure, if you're planning on charging that, make sure that it is something, make sure you understand how it charges, because some of those cannot be charged while you're using them. So either have two of them or have a way to charge them. And then also remember, if you're going to be using drop bags, you got to have basically two sets of everything. The one that you start the race, or sorry, if you're doing the 100-mile, the one that you start the race in, and then the one that you put on when we get to that point in the evening where it's dark. So you're going to have one at the start and then one in a drop bag or with your crew, whatever that option is. Yes. All right. Does anyone have any other questions?
Oh, Megan, can you hear me? Can I add one thing that I thought of?
Yes.
Yay, success. Here I am. One time when I was crewing someone, she gave us a tour of her packing. And at first it seemed like a little overkill, but in the middle of the night when she was like, I want the blue gloves, we were like, okay, the blue gloves are in the black bag that has the red ribbon on it. And it was a lot. She had made a packing list, like a tour of the packing. So depending on how conscientious your person is about, they definitely want this or this or this. She had electronics in a clear bag. She had the food she wanted in the second half of the race in this bag. And it was very thorough. And at first I was like, wow, that's a lot. And then in the middle of the night, I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Julie, what kind of bags did this person use?
She had like the cloth bags people take to the shopping bags. She had a small duffel for shoes. She also used a lot of bins that were clear. And ever since that, I've never bought an opaque bin. The clear bins are the way to go. Like makeup bags for electronics. I mean, everything was really dialed in. This was not her first rodeo.
A lot of like masking tape with like things written on it type of deal.
Yep.
Okay.
Label on the outside and not overpacked, not cluttered, just really well organized.
So Julie, talk about the shower caddy thing that you do.
Oh yeah, this was the same girl. She said if you cannot park and stop close to the race, I don't want to go off course to get to the car. So we had a shower caddy and she was like, I want the most immediate things in it, like my water, the stuff she put in her water to, drop it in her thing, shake it up, chapstick, Tylenol and S-cap, different things like that she knew would be just to grab. And so I'd walk out to the course with the shower caddy, and there's like a little bucket with all the dividers in it. So that was really convenient. And I've stolen that from her too. So you learn so much when you crew. Crewing is so much fun. It's so wonderful. And you learn so much.
It really is. That reminded me of something. If you are going to be carrying things for yourself, consider if you're going to be carrying in a pack like a dry shirt or a dry jacket, consider packing that in like a small Ziploc baggie so that it doesn't get wet either from your sweat or the elements. Brendan had his hand up. So Brendan, it's all yours. Go for it.
I promise my last question. I have a very unique crew coming down, and I appreciate every one of them, but some of my crew wants to run with me, and I'm fearful that they won't be able to keep up my pace even at 50 miles. What is the protocol if a pacer drops off? Can my crew pick that person up and I continue, or do I have to stay with that person?
Oh, no. They are not your responsibility, my friend. You just keep on running. They will get there. Let them figure out their own thing.
All right, good.
That's a good question, Brendan. And, pacers have a good heart, right? But sometimes, sometimes they get focused on their own goals, and that becomes a problem. And sometimes, like you said, they can't keep up with you. And so we'll have a Crew Tip Tuesday that talks about crewing as a pacer, because that's a big deal. And they got to focus on you. It's about you. It's not about them. It's about you, Brendan.
I appreciate it. I just wanted to get that clarification, so
Yeah.
I didn't feel guilty leaving them, and I didn't want to get in trouble.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
If you slow down because of your pacer, you're gonna get hounded like crazy by hopefully everyone around you.
Did we get everything, Brendan?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for everything. I
Okay.
appreciate this.
Oh, our pleasure. Aaron, you're up. Go for it.
Yeah, hey, thanks for putting this together. I appreciate it. Sorry, my 7-year-old got excited. So I have 2 questions. One that I actually saw in the chat, that was a great question. So that question was, if anyone on your relay team gets injured, are you able to swap out mid-race, or do you still have to wait until like an exchange point?
Oh, okay. So I think I'm understanding you. You're saying, okay. So basically you're saying, like, if I get injured between exchanges, do I need to hobble it into the next to the next exchange point? Is that what you're saying?
Correct, yes.
Okay. I'm pretty sure the answer is the exchange has to happen at the exchange point, just like it would for a solo runner. But let me confirm that with one of the race directors. Aaron, drop your email in the chat and just let me confirm that with someone, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Did you have another question?
Yes, the second question was, so running vest. So I did read the guide, and I saw, the required gear, especially the nighttime stuff. But is there a requirement for like any sort of running vest or anything like that if you're doing the relay?
Vest. When you say vest, do you mean like the reflective gear, or do you mean like a pack?
Yes, like a pack, like a Solomon, like the Avskins, or like the North Face, like hydration vest.
Nope. No, as long as we assume that you will use whatever product works for you, and some people prefer, well, all sorts of things. So no, there's no requirement there, just the mandatory gear requirement. Yeah, does that help?
Yep, that's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, especially for relay, because with you guys, you're in and out, so you may just need a handheld. I know someone else had their hand up. Hold on, I lost it. Nope, I just raised my own hand. All right, whoever it was, please go ahead.
Megan, can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
It was me. It was the same question that Aaron had asked. I had asked it earlier in the chat about the relay, so I dropped my email as well.
Perfect.
So hopefully nobody gets injured, but things happen.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so wait a second. I got Jason's email. Who I couldn't see who that was just talking.
It was me. It was Jason.
That was Aaron. Oh, I see it, Aaron. I see you now. Okay, perfect. I'll get back to both of you about that one. Excellent. All right. Any other questions from anyone? I'll stay on here as long as y'all need. I will, if you've got anything, you can come off mic, you can put it in the chat. I am going to quickly explain this. We shared the new trucker hats last night that we worked really hard on. We are very excited about them. If you haven't seen them yet, they're on social media. I think I was waiting on, thanks, Madison. I think I was waiting. I don't think I sent the email yet. I can't remember at this point, but they're basically like a Boko hat, if you've had those before. And we are going to open up the shop for people who are not running the race this year, so they can purchase them. There's quite a few people. Caitlin, you can just get yours through John. But there are quite a few people who wanted to get one and aren't running the race this year. Please do not purchase yours through the shop if you are running the race this year, because A, you will then pay shipping, which is unnecessary, and B, you won't get it until after the race. We will, if you're ordering any add-on swag, you'll get it at packet pickup at the race. And then for anyone who's purchasing it on the shop who's not running the race, we're going to ship it out afterwards. So if you guys see that, that I will be very clear that it is not for people who are running the race this year, but I just wanted to make sure everyone understood. Richard was asking, what would be a procedure for a runner missing the cutoff time? Okay, so Richard, real quick, come off mic for me. Are you talking about a cutoff at an aid station, I assume? Right? Because it wouldn't be, yeah, aid station. Okay, perfect. So essentially, the cutoffs are at the discretion of the staff, and if we have someone who is, you're coming into the aids, okay, the cutoff is 10 o'clock. You're coming into the aid station, it's 9:59. You're looking really good. You're like, all right, I'm heading right back out. It's the cutoff's 10 o'clock, it's 10:01, you're heading out. We're not trying to cut anyone. If you are coming into the aid station and it is 9:59 and you are shuffling and you are holding your knee and you are absolutely exhausted and you are not looking like you are going to be able to make it to the next one, then the cutoff will be enforced. Our volunteers have been out there a very long time. We only have a certain amount of time that we are allowed to be at those aid stations. So then the cutoff will be enforced. The one piece that I am unsure of, and maybe my people who have volunteered before can help me out with this, is I know that the staff come and pick people up at the aid stations if they have had to drop. But can you guys talk a little bit more about what that looks like? Uh-oh. Have you, Carolyn's got a,
Yeah. So when I've had that experience, the runner will come in and I've never had to say to a runner, let's think about this. The runner comes in and they know that they've injured themselves or whatever. And so at the aid stations, we have access to the staff by phone. And so we just call the staff and we say, hey, we've got a runner here. He's going to need some assistance. He or she's going to need some assistance getting to wherever. And it took maybe 20 minutes for the staff member to get there and just kind of loaded the runner into the car and off they went. Now, what happened after that, I don't know, but that's how it looked at the aid station.
And I believe they will take you to the finish line, although I'm not 100% sure on that piece of it. Julie, Caitlin, do y'all know anything from your experience?
I don't know anything in that respect from my experience. I know last year and the year before, even though I'm sure this is talked about at some point, we've had people not finish and then not tell us at the aid station that they weren't continuing, and that always causes like a huge panic. So, this is the only time I'm going to tell you it's okay to not finish. But like, if you don't finish, please tell me that you're not going to finish, and don't like have somebody pick you up halfway through the race and then just kind of jet off somewhere. Like, let the people at the aid stations know, or if you get picked up partway through, have like one of your crewing people tell one of the aid station members, because otherwise we go into a tizzy. And it has happened before where like Megan or somebody will come by and they'll be like, where's 193? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see them. And everybody's like, well, they should have been here because they were at the last one. And with their pacing, there's no way they're at the next one. So like, and it's a whole thing. So if you're not going to finish, please tell us that you're not going to finish and make sure somebody knows at some point along the way. But try to finish.
Yes. A sweeper with a cattle prod. Yeah. So if anyone has any more questions, you're more than welcome to drop them in the chat. But I'm curious, for any of our ambassadors, what would your best piece of advice be for someone who's coming out to run this race, either for the first time or just someone who is new to ultra running? What would your best piece of advice be? And y'all can, just go ahead and go off mic and do it.
Something that I tell my
Sorry, go ahead, Jackie.
Something I tell my cross country runners is, and I heard this at an aid station when I wanted to quit one time, was, are you hurt or are you hurting? So that's always just kind of a good little check-in is, am I struggling, or is this something really you need to kind of stop and drop? So that's just kind of my thought.
I like that. Carolyn, go ahead.
I was just going to say, coming into this race, know you're coming into a race that has a ton of energy, a ton of fun. really boisterous people. And like I said, if you get to the start line, you're a winner in my book. Now, I won't tell you that at the aid stations, but if you're at the start line, you're a winner.
Julie, you're up.
I would say when you get to that start line, that whole journey of training is done. You start a whole second journey. And so for your journey of your race, just worry about the mile that you're in. Don't think about the miles that are coming later. Don't think if I feel like this at mile here, what's it going to be like at mile then? Just do the mile you're in and control your controllables. There'll be things you can control and things that you can't. So don't worry about the things you can't and just stay in your mile and keep moving forward.
Love it.
I would say, because I am not a runner, really reflect on your why the entire time. That's been like the biggest motivator that I see for people. And the reason that you're doing it doesn't change within the span of 33 hours or so. So, if that's not changing, then why are you changing?
Love that. John, you're up.
I'd say just enjoy it. Make sure you take the time to enjoy it, because you're not going out there and suffering just because you don't like yourself. And there's so much beautiful stuff to see. I mean, you get the entire Outer Banks, the full experience, so take it all in.
So true. There's a reason we started this race, right? Like, it's freaking cool.
Oh man, out in the Pea Island wilderness in the middle of the night with no moon up last year, that was amazing, and you don't get a beach road race like this too often. So
yeah. Molly, did you want to? Did you have any ideas there?
Again, like this is my first ultra, but it means so much to me that I'm running home. I've been away for 10 years. I've traveled the world. It's been amazing, but it's like home always calls me. It's the most beautiful place that I've ever, it's just, and the people make it too. And I think Jason said it's the stars. Like I'll look up every place I go and I'm like, it's not like home. But once you get there and you look up at the stars, you're like, oh, this is paradise. This is awesome. So I'm just super stoked for the opportunity to just try, hopefully to get it done and remember the why.
Yeah. It's real easy to forget when we're planning something this big and this epic with this many moving pieces that this is fun. We're grown-ups who get to go out and be kids and do something cool. And I can't remember who said it, but your kids then are looking up to that. And this is something that, I mean, even if you don't have kids, this is something that makes you get to have some time for you and some time to do something that makes you who you are and makes you a better person, and who, it gives you a chance to grow and to be someone other than who you are during your 9 to 5. And I think that that's pretty special. So, whatever your ultra pirate name is, make sure that it's got something meaningful behind it. I think that we may need to, this is a little bit of logistics, but I think someone realized that question may not have been on the registration. So you may be getting an email sometime soon asking or giving you the option to add your ultra pirate name. But your ultra pirate name is not something that we do for, it's not something we do for any other race. This is, Madison, I think we have to send an email to allow you to amend your registration. Your ultra pirate name is something that kind of gets to who you are and why you're doing this race. And it can change, you may choose it now and halfway through your training or on, you may realize that your whole reason for doing this has changed. And that's kind of cool. That means you've had some self-reflection, some growth, but your ultra pirate name may just be something completely ridiculous because you're super serious in all of the rest of your daily life. It may be something very meaningful. But make sure that it's something that, when you get to the finish line and you reflect on that name, you're like, yeah, that's someone said this in the chat. That's something I'd get a tattoo of, right? Like that's something meaningful to me. But I just want to take a second to thank all of you for being here. My ambassadors, you guys are amazing. I couldn't ask for a better crew to have handled this with. Thank you guys so much for sharing your wisdom. And to everyone who is about to embark on this journey, we cannot wait to welcome you down to the Outer Banks. This is going to be freaking awesome. You guys just go kick some butt over the next couple of months, get those miles in, and, you know, just remember it's all about flexibility. It's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Have fun with this, right? If you guys need anything, I'll put my email in the chat. Please email me with whatever question you have, even if it seems silly. We're here for you guys. But we really appreciate everyone stopping in, and, you know, have a great rest of the night. Have a great next couple of months. We're going to see you in the Outer Banks in a couple of months here. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of the night.
See y'all. Thank you.
Woo! You guys are amazing.
I won't wear a tie during the run, I promise.
I mean, I've seen some pretty speedy PRs from some people in those suits.
See ya. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great night, everyone.